Hi, welcome to Tea Time at the Movies. I'm your host, Tea Time. Great to be here with you guys. Thanks for tuning in for this week's episode. How about them Cubbies, huh? Today, big win against the Milwaukee Brewers at home. So winner takes all here on Saturday, or a couple days from now, Saturday. Real exciting stuff here happening in Chicago. But let's get to it. Welcome to the show. This is a movie review podcast, not baseball, but we're in the Windy City here. Got to root for the team. The Bears looking better, 2-2, right? Season isn't lost. But on today's episode, we got Tron Ares, the new sci-fi, and Kiss of the Spider Woman, the new musical. For you guys, if you're looking also for Roofman, that was on my last episode. I saw Screen Unseen, AMC Screen Unseen this week on Monday, so that was the movie. So I thought I'd get that review in early, but nobody really watched that episode. But if you don't feel like watching my review of that, that was Tigo C. Roofman was very good. Channing Tatum was good. Good story. Good story with him and Kirsten Dunst. That was a good love story. But good story overall. But on this week's episode, let's get right to it. Tron Ares, the new sci-fi. This movie is rated PG-13 for violence and action. It's an hour, 59 minutes. From director Joe Chin Ronning. Apologies if I said that wrong, but looks like he made the Pirates of the Caribbean, the one from 2017. What was that? No Dead Man Tells No Lies, or I don't remember. Maleficent, the sequel to Maleficent, and Young Woman in the Sea came out last year, the year before, with the girl from Star Wars. So he's done some stuff. Pirates, not the worst movie. Maleficent, I didn't see either Maleficent movie. This movie, Tron Ares, was written by, there are 4 writers credited, but the 2 on this one was Jesse Wigatow and David Giolio. The 2 other writers were, I think the writers of Tron, the original, that because it was created, characters created by. For the plot for this one, pretty straightforward, pretty complicated. A highly sophisticated program named Ares is sent from the digital world on a dangerous mission. This is not really spoiling anything. It's just because it wasn't in the trailer doesn't mean it's a spoiler, but this is the crux of the movie here. He's searching for a permanence code because when he's sent to the real world from the digital world, he can only stay in the real world before he gets crumbled, or vaporizes for about 29 minutes. So him and the code creator are looking for the permanence code of how to keep the digital world when it's sent into the real world to keep it, permanent, existing instead of dissolving after 29 minutes. So that's the movie in a crux. But unfortunately, this was a no thanks, not for me. This movie was a little too long, a little too less plot focused, a little too more visual focus on this one. Looking at my notes here, the cast of this one, Jared Leto plays Ares, the lead. He's the code that's sent into the real world. Jodie Turner-Smith is Athena. She's also a code sent into the real world. Athena. I was looking at the wrong line here. And Gillian Anderson, she plays Elizabeth Dillinger, and her son, played by Evan Peters, plays Julian Dillinger. They are kind of like, they own the company that is bringing the digital world into the real world. Hassan Minhaj is also in this. He plays AJ. He's like a coder or, somehow is involved with the company. Arturo Castro plays Seth. He's kind of the comic relief in this. He was okay. Kind of funny. And Jeff Bridges, of course, is in if you've seen the trailer, but if not, he's back and he's old. He reprises the role as Kevin Flynn in one of the computers. So we'll get into the good first. The good. This movie looked beautiful with all the red and the colors going, and with the motorbikes from the digital world go, and they have that light behind them that looked really cool throughout the movie. It's a visually stunning movie, yes. From the cool vehicles from the digital world, the motorcycles and that huge M-shaped thing that is floating around looked pretty cool. Those were all pretty cool. How they, didn't really abide by the laws of physics. Sounded great. I wanted more Nine Inch Nails. There was just a lot of the kind of mood setting for the music by them. I don't think they really sang anything. Maybe just a taste, just a small taste. I wanted more. I want a song sung by them to really. I had to listen to some of their old stuff on the ride home to give. I wanted some Nine Inch Nails. This movie will get you pumped up for some Nine Inch Nails. Strong, drums on it. Another good thing about this, as wacky as they were solid performances. Everyone was kind of tuned into their own character. You believed the characters they kind of built, especially Jared Leto and Jodie Turner-Smith. They were both pretty believable as, I guess, codes from the digital world. They played it straight. There wasn't any really joking. There were some cool chase scenes. I will give the movie that. The motorcycles were cool chase scenes. Those were pretty good. Unlike one battle after another, that was bad chase scenes. Everyone's saying those were like the best chase scene they've seen ever. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's terrible. I'll discuss it or comment if you like. If you like that, bad chase scene. This had good chase scenes. The bad in this, the story, the plot. It was just pretty stupid. The story touches on some interesting ideas. Digital consciousness, right, with Jared Leto. Why is he doing this? Why isn't he just following orders? It's like a error in his programming or something. They don't really get into the details of that. They kind of just gloss over it, like everything in this. The programming, are they making their own decisions like Jared Leto? But Athena's kind of just following orders, programming, whatever like that. And what are you really to do to survive? If you're a program, if you're a human, if you're digital, if you're real. But this was only surface level stuff. The movie gets too focused in on itself and just kind of trying to self-contain. It could have been much broader. The internet is, especially with the internet now. The Tron was made in 84, 80, 83, early 80s. I mean, the digital world's so much broader now. And the last one was 2010. I don't really remember what happened in that one, to be honest. Or in the original Tron. This one had an opening crawl, which kind of gets you set up for the world in here. And, when they're doing it with like kind of news clips to get the story set up, like, they said like a news clip from the 80s, the Flynn was digitalized into the digital world, stuff like that. And it's floating by. So you think that they would like put the producer, like that's how they hide that stuff. But after the opening credits setting up the world, they immediately go into another opening credits to introduce all the producers and executive producers. Like, my God, like, why didn't you just hide that in the first minute of the movie? The movie was way too focused on the visual. That's where all the money went, which is okay. But, you need a story. This limitless stories for this. But what they did was kind of stupid. What bad thing of this when they go, Jared Leto goes to meet Bridges, the Flynn character, in Flynn's old office in the computer from the 80s that apparently hasn't been touched. And why is Jeff Bridges, if he's timeless, like he says he's timeless, when he visits him inside the computer, why is he so old? Wouldn't he just be young if he's digitalist? And he says, I only exist because you're here right now. So if he's timeless, he exists only when someone's interacting with him. Why is he so freaking old? Because Jeff Bridges is old. So I don't. If stuff doesn't make sense when you're trying to make sense of other stuff that shouldn't make sense, nothing makes sense. If that makes sense. And they ended up CGI to de-age him, Jeff Bridges. Yeah. I did the intro credits. Too far between Tron movies. You could be pumping these things out. It's a simple story. You're digitizing humans into the digital world or vice versa. Well, starting in this one. Another bad thing in this one that I found, absolutely no explanation of how these digital beings exist in the real world. They just show like they're in this kind of cave, like a giant 3D printer, and the lasers are shooting their lasers at the certain point in the middle, the focal point, to create the digital world into the real world. But it's absolutely no explanation of how they exist, if they're atoms or if they're how they're real, if they're carbon based, if they're I don't know. They didn't explain it all. Just they're created by lasers and then they exist for 29 minutes and that's it. And we need to solve that problem, and that's the movie. And like, how do they survive in this world? Like, what would kill them versus what would just injure them versus why would they be injured if they don't have organs, or if they do have organs, to to what extent do they get injured before they die and get vaporized? You know, it doesn't explain anything like that or get into it. So if the base of the movie is like you don't explain it at all, the rest to make it make sense, the story just feels like filler. You know, the Evan Peters character not believable. He plays like the CEO of the company, digitizing or creating real the digital world. He's a genius mama's boy coder. Yeah, he's like a genius mama's baby coder and CEO, and like he has no gravitas really. He plays it way too whimsical, way too kind of like wimpy. He's not a man. He's a little child boy. What is his motive to sell this technology to the military, I guess? But they don't really delve into that again. They just get into the story and stuff. But like, I guess it's money, but it seems like you'd have money if you can create real sentient beings from the digital world, like limitless money, even for 29 minutes. I can imagine a few things I could do in 29 minutes with coded things, maybe in a bedroom. Immediately after being told and him knowing he now only has one life, he gets by a car. Jared Leto, he gets digitized. I got to put it the spill the tea banner here. Spoiler alert here. They find the permanence code. And Jared Leto gets it, and he's permanent. He's told he's permanent. And then immediately, like, he gets hit by a car. Or, like, tries to stop something. Like, bro, you have one life now. Like, he played it real fast and loose there right at the beginning. Didn't show him really getting hurt. So how does he exist? Does he have organs? Oh, and they keep saying like Ares has a flaw. That's why like he's making his own decisions. Like, is it a flaw in the code of his? Like, was it put there by Tron? I don't even remember who Tron is. Tron isn't in this. Was he in the last one? I don't even remember. Athena follows orders, so why does because they keep saying like it's an error or something, but that's not explained really how that existed or it's preordained or it doesn't really get into it, like I said. It's another thing here to leave everything in the digitalized people or make real digital people explained by lasers isn't enough and is stupid. And then later they go to Flynn's office and he has a laser in there and apparently that just works and it hasn't been touched since the 80s. You know, that's really stupid. It doesn't make sense. It's lazy and not good writing. How is Jeff Bridges' office so functional and not touched by the company at all? Like everything was like, put in plastic or, covering plastic, but this isn't like Bud Selig's office in Milwaukee Brewers where, they recreated it. Like nothing's touched because it's off quarantined off. This is just like an office building for the 80s. They're not going to like have headquartered or anything since then. How's everything not touched? There were too many characters in this movie introduced to, given a plot arc, especially the sister character. She's the Asian girl with the Hispanic guy, Arturo Castro. They have a whole arc. It was needed for the story, I guess, but, they got way too much screen time. They were part of finding the permanence code because her sister created it or found it or something. I forgot. It was like on a floppy disk. So stupid. Jared Leto lives in the real world. Like how long? Yeah. And like when they go into the digital world, why is there like gravity? And why would it look like a city? I mean, in the digital world, I'd imagine there's limitless land or area to build everything. Why would everything be just condensed into one little like medieval style structured city? Like I guess it is coded by man, so maybe that's how it would just be, I guess. But it's not even clear like how Jared Leto and the Athena are coded. Why do they look the way they do? Like is there just one line of code? Aren't they the same code? They're different code. Jared Leto some sort of warrior or something. Didn't explain anything. Then it got into the plot, and then it just resolved the plot. And then the movie's over. Jared Leto lives at the end in the real world. Doesn't really make sense. You could skip this. The more you think about it, the more problems you have with it. Nothing to see again. I'm too long, too uninteresting with the plot. The performances, some were good, some were bad. Mostly that was probably based on the writing. But this is just surface level stuff here. nothing really too interesting. I like Jared Leto. I like the girl was believable. Athena was good in this. I'm not sure. I didn't recognize many of her crits, but she was good. You know, Gillian Anderson, she gets a whole story arc. Why was she in this? It was to make the kid or her son seem weak. Like, but that's not a good storyline for a CEO of a company or the antagonist of the story. Whatever. This is a skip. Too many disoriented ideas for the story to. And how do these? If they get digitized or they get realized in the real world from the digital world, like the motorcycle or the giant floating M, how do they work in the physical world? Like, why couldn't we just build these types of machines if we have the technology to? Well, it just needs to be 3D printed by a machine that somehow knows how to build it because it's in the digital world. Like, that doesn't make sense. If we can know how to build these things, why don't we build them and not just digitize or make them real from the digital world? That makes sense. That makes sense what I'm saying. Skip it. Too long. I saw it in IMAX 3D, or not IMAX. It was just regular 3D. That looked pretty good. The 3D was good in this, but it just seems like a cash grab. All the main times are in 3D IMAX. Well, you don't need to pay to see this movie. It was not worth it. All right, next up here, we have Kiss of the Spider-Woman. This movie is a musical. It's rated R for language, sexual content, and some violence. It's 2 hours and 8 minutes from writer-director Bill Condon. Some of the ones, there was also 3 writers credited, but the ones, I think this is based off the musical written by Terrence McNally, but they're all based on the book written by Manuel Puig. The plot of this, Valentine is a political prisoner with information that the government wants. Luis Molina is his cellmate, forced to try and get the info using a softer touch. I guess the torturing and beating of Diego Luna's character wasn't working, so they're going to try to send in Luis Molina to get the info. But through their imprisonment, the two form a close bond and try to get the valuable info to the revolutionary group that Diego Luna was part of. And the musical element of this is to pass the time. Luis Molina tells the story of a movie he saw as a child, a musical starring the J-Lo character. And throughout it's intercut between the prison scenes and kind of the musical that happened. So they're two different stories. In the musical, well, let's get to it. The cast, Diego Luna plays Valentine. Tona Tua plays Luis Molina. J-Lo is the singer in the musical. I forgot her character's name. And then Bruno Bichar plays the warden. He was pretty good. So, and then Diego Luna, Tona Tua also play like the main male characters in the musical part. So they were credited a couple times here. But overall, this was no thanks, not for me. This was a little too much. It was 30 minutes too long. 2 hours, 8 minutes was very long. It was kind of unbalanced throughout the whole movie as a whole, especially the elements of the musical part. Seemed a little balanced. J-Lo was miscast in this. She's not a great actress. A great singer, great dancer, not a great actress. The musicals were visually stunning, especially as opposed to the prison scenes, which were kind of dull and gray. The musicals were sharp and bright and vibrant, which makes sense. Was good direction there, good movie making. But the musical element, they were like bland and forgettable. The songs, the dancing wasn't really, especially early on, they didn't seem very inspired. Seemed a little lazy at the beginning. Not clear what was going on in the musical plot. I mean, I think he is narrating it and stuff, but I don't know, you kind of lose focus, especially when they're singing. I mean, it turns out I think he's making up the musical he saw. It's just all in his head, but still, follow a plot point. This is a Hollywood movie. Let's make it make sense. Write it a little better. But some of the good elements of this was shot well. The director knows how to make a musical. He knows how to make a movie. This was competently shot. But when they were filming the musical elements, I wish the camera got a little more playful, a little more movement, a little more focus or close-ups kind of seemed a little, you're shooting everything the same way, but the musicals, especially the later musicals, seem to have a little more better produced. I'll say that. Good performances. I will give it to Diego Luna. And the guy Tia Natua. They were great. I thought they were very believable. The prison scenes were the best part of the movie. The musical kind of, the uninspiredness of it kind of made it blah. And I don't remember a single line from any of the musics. Yeah, no, I just saw it a couple hours ago. The interesting story between Lewis and Valentine, and the warden was good in this. Plays good. The music, kind of ruined the movie. For a musical, you don't really want that. You want it to uplift the movie, make it inspirational or fun, but kind of sad story overall. Based on the novel, I think it was better as a novel or a stage play rather than a movie. I think the movie maybe should have taken a different direction. But the strong sexual content in it is like they make no secret of it. Lewis is. Oh, where are my notes here? Here we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, Luis Molina. He's with Diego Luna, and it's clear that he's gay. I mean, they use some strong language, if you know what I mean. They do use the F word for gay people in this quite a few times. They use the M word in Spanish for him. So it is strong on that, especially like the wardens and the prison guards are pretty homophobic, which is a problem. And then on the flip side, there's a lot of gay stuff in it. Not that that's a problem, but there is open mouth kissing with Diego and the Lewis and Valentine characters, and they do have gay sex. They kind of lightly touch on it, and then in the next scene, they really go for it. Kind of lightly suggested that they might have sex, but they show them having sex. And Diego Luna is the top. Who would have thought? But good performances. Not that the gay stuff really bothered me, but they did kind of over the top with it at the end. If that might offend you or not offend you, you might want to go see it because of that. But if we're going to show this, let's show the flip side. Maybe not in this movie, but in just Hollywood performances. If you're going to show gay sex, you show heterosexual sex. Maybe a thought. Maybe they weren't doing it wrong for 80, 90 years. But like I said, not that I have a problem with it. Just be forewarned that that is a big element. Maybe hard to commercialize a movie like that with this in it. Musical lovers might love this. Go see it if you like musicals. Give it a chance. It's certainly not the worst musical I've seen. I was enjoying it first 2/3, and then like I said, this movie was a little too long. Could have cut out some of the stuff in the middle. And the gay stuff didn't offend me, but it was believable. Like, what else is there to do in prison than have gay sex and sing musicals from your childhood? I don't know how I would pass the time other than those two activities. Yeah, I don't know. Comment, how would you pass the time in prison? Think about it before you say or against it. You know what I mean? But overall, no thanks, not for me. J-Lo was miscast. That could have been a better part of this movie. The musical elements, I don't know if the stage play probably was a musical, being a stage play, but I don't know how closely the music was adapted from this or if there was some cut or added, but kind of not memorable. This whole movie was kind of not memorable. I could see this being a good novel, what they did with the plot and everything, how they were trying to get the information from Diego Luna and, sending the gay guy in there to soften the blow and trying to get it that way. And then the ending was kind of uninteresting either. Just kind of whole uninteresting movie. Just to skip. I didn't even see any trailers for this for the past few months. I first saw this was coming out like last week when I was looking at the To You Next Time. I like J-Lo usually, maybe not in movies, but she's hot. She's still looking good in her 50s. But no Hollywood starlet from the early days of Hollywood and musicals was going to be in her 50s, starring in a musical that they released to the public. I don't think so. All right. Well, that's all I had for you guys today. To you next time. I looked up the movies that are coming out next week. Looks like there's a bunch. Yippee. Good Fortune, the Aziz Ansari, Seth Rogen, Keanu Reeves comedy. I keep seeing trailers for that. The newer trailer looked a little bit better, but I'm sick of seeing this trailer. Glad it's out. Black Phone 2. I didn't know if there was more story there. I guess there is. Give that a try. I really like Black Phone, the first one. Truth and Treason. Well, bam. Truth and Treason, tea time. I forgot what that one was. And then If I Only Had Legs is coming out. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You with Rose Byrne. Kind of like, it looks like a dark comedy. And Conan's in it. Conan O'Brien. See how well he acts. I don't know, he looks kind of stiff in the trailer, but looks like it might be interesting. I love Rose Byrne. She could do no wrong in my eyes. But let me see real quick what the Truth or Treason was. I was looking that up. Truth or Treason. Fairyland is out. I was trying to see that too, but no. I go to next. Sorry, I should have wrote down what it was about. The Nazi movie. They make flyers or something. They're with the resistance. It's another Nazi Holocaust. Maybe not Holocaust. Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know. The trailer, like, they're making pamphlets and handing them out in Nazi time Germany. Truth and Treason. But this week, what's out? What I'd recommend is Roofman or Catch the Cubbies on Saturday. But Tron Ares, skip it. Kiss of the Spider Woman. Unless you love musicals, you love J-Lo, you're a fan of Diego Luna. He was pretty good. The other guy was good in it too. You can skip that though. Nothing really to see. But Roofman, I'd recommend Roofman. So thanks for tuning in, you guys. Appreciate you watching. Like and subscribe. Just remember that the T stands for truth, and that's a guarantee. See you guys next time.